So this evening I'm joined by superbike rider Jack Kennedy. So Jack, how are you keeping, and how was the lockdown for you as well?
Yeah, keeping well. It was nice to sort of get back to some normality, but things seem to be looking bad again. Lockdown was hard. It was hard for everyone, but it was great to spend some time with my daughter, who's only 10 months old now. So I got to be locked in a house with her and my girlfriend as well. So it wasn't too bad to see her grow and have fun with her every day.
So going back pre-lockdown and pre I suppose where you are now, how did you first get involved in racing? Was it in the family, or was it something you kind of just fell in love with yourself?
Yeah, it was sort of something I was in love with, and it was in the family as well. My dad used to race cars and bikes, so Santi brought me my first motorbike when I was 5 years old, a little Yamaha PW50, which is nearly what every kid starts out on. It's such a famous bike, like, and it's still being sold today for kids, like the exact same bike. So yeah, that was my first love at 5 years old, and it sort of went from there.
So I suppose you started off then from that you went circuit racing, and you've stuck with that ever since. So I suppose, was that kind of the plan to go and to start off on the circuits, and were you ever, I suppose, thinking about progressing onto anything else after that, or what was the plan, I suppose?
Started with the motocross bikes, yeah, until I was about, I don't know, 14 years old. Well, about 12, I started to go mini motor racing. We done it more for fun, really, because it was me, my dad, Derek Shields, another fella, Shane Hendrick, and Alan O'Neill, and we just started doing mini bike racing, and we used to rent them, and we used to just have great crack racing each other, taking each other off. And then we got quite serious about it. We started buying bikes and racing the championship, and I won the Irish Championship on the mini bikes, and then I really got a love for tarmac, you could say. So we switched from the motocross and then went to the Aprilia Super Teens. So it started from the Aprilia 125s into the 250s and then onto the 600s. It's where I really found my feet at about 16 years old on the 600s. Really enjoyed it and won the Clubman's Championship in my first year. So I suppose that's where it all took off.
And then I suppose, because you've had great success over the years in the super sport class in the British Superbikes, I suppose going into that, did you ever sort of have, what were the expectations going into British Superbikes? Because I suppose kind of, like after that, I suppose is World Superbikes, but it is like starting off, like it is a big deal, being given the chance to race against some of the best racers in the world.
Yeah, well, you say like I won the Clubman's Championship and the National Championship in Ireland. So like you could say you're used to running at the front and you'd won a good few races, so you quite a lot of confidence. And then you go over to the UK and it's just like starting from scratch again because you're struggling to make it into the top 15 or the top 20. So it's a real shock of reality, nearly, you could say, and you really need to up your game if you want to get any results over there. So it took a long time to learn the circuits and to learn the craft over there and to improve myself as a rider, but eventually got there and sort of, you could say, conquered the 600 class. But yeah, the Superbike class is another level again. Like if you're it's not even easy to score points in the Superbike class. To finish in the top 15 is a million feet every weekend, and the depth of field is just unbelievable. And like, unless you get a good qualifying and you don't get away, you're not making your way through the pack because nobody's slow and everybody just fights back at you the minute you pass someone. So really tough class, but it's a class that I feel I need to be in now. I need a new challenge because obviously I've won the Super Sport Championship the last 2 years in a row. So I think the new challenge is good for me, and it gives me a new hunger as well.
Did I see as well, as you say, you won the Super Sport class 2018 and 2019? Was it 2018 you actually had a hand injury and you still managed to win the class anyway?
Yeah, what did I do? I broke the two metatarsals in my hand, my middle finger and the wedding ring finger. So it didn't need an operation, but I wanted the medics to operate on it so it would be more secure. I wanted them to actually put screws in it to
Yeah.
keep the bones together so I could go back on the bike sooner, but they wouldn't because it was an undisplaced fracture. So I had 2 fractures in my right hand, and I went out and rode the bike a week and a half after fracturing them. Now, it was the most painful thing, one of the most painful things I've done. I've done a lot of painful things, but managed to come away that weekend with a second and a first, because Ben Curry, who was battling for the championship, crashed out of the main race and handed me the win. So it just shows, like, when you don't think you can do something and you put the effort in, sometimes it can all pay off. So I done that in 18, and then I also fractured my wrist on the same hand in 2019 when I was leading the championship as well. That time I fractured my scaphoid, which is a really tricky bone in your wrist that takes a long time to heal. So I got a screw in that one. I broke it in Donington. Got a screw in that one a week and a half later. Came back then as well. I finished second to Alice O'Seeley in the first race on the Saturday, and then I won the race on the Sunday in the dry. So yeah, I like making things hard for myself. When things are going really smoothly, I always seem to like to throw a spanner in the works.
Oh God. Well, we've seen announced there only recently that you've swapped over and you're now racing for the remainder of the season with the RAF team. So first week with them there last week, how did you get on, and how are you feeling, I suppose, for the remaining 2 rounds, isn't it?
Yeah, got on really well. The team, I sort of know Lee Hardy a little bit just from being in the paddock, so he's a really nice guy, and was really excited to get the opportunity to ride for another team, because I didn't know if I was going to be doing anything for the rest of the year after my team pulled out. So obviously it's not good news for my team to pull out, but also thanks to them for releasing me from my contract so I could ride other bikes too. And big thanks to Lee Hardy, RAF Regular Reserves, for the opportunity. So I was really excited going to Ulton Park. It's a track that I really love. I've ridden the Kawasaki before. I know that it's a good team with a proven package. So I was really excited going there, and I really enjoyed my time at the weekend as well. We got on the bike and was in the top 15 in the first session. So we could say we hit the ground running. Qualified in the top 15 again for the races, but in race 1 we had a bit of a tire delamination. A big chunk came out of my tire and made the bike really unstable, which is a pity because I was running in the top 10, felt really good. Had to pull in with that. And then race 2, ran into a bit of arm pump trouble. Race 3, managed to bring it home, but was suffering from arm pump halfway through the race and just battled it out and held on with every inch of my body. Even though my right arm wasn't working, I could barely pull the front brake or get on the gas. So I'm looking at getting an operation done this week to fix the arm pump. I've had the operation already in 2015, but it looks like the fascia has grown back in my arm. So I'm going in the morning, actually, first thing in the morning, flying over to Manchester to get an operation on my arm.
Well, very best of luck with that, Josh.
Thanks.
Just when you said there about, like, you're riding with the RAF team now, which is Kawasaki, and previous to that you were on a Yamaha. I suppose for me, like, I wouldn't know anything about riding bikes now. I like watching them, but I wouldn't know anything about riding them. But what is there kind of differences there then, getting on, say, from a Yamaha to a Kawasaki? Is there differences with the manufactured bikes, like, when you have to kind of learn new things about each one you get on?
Yeah, you do. They all react differently, and they make power in a different way, and the way they slow down, the engine braking is different, and the way the chassis handles, the way it reacts. So you have a lot of stuff to learn, and we didn't have any testing before we get on the Kawasaki. I just had to go straight into a race weekend against everybody who's been on their bikes all year. So it was a lot to take on, but I really enjoyed it. And if it wasn't for me arm pump, I think we could have really got some decent results. So I came away from the weekend feeling really frustrated with myself. So that's why I've booked in to get this operation so soon, and it only gives me about 7 days recovery time before my next race as well. So I'm praying I won't be in too much pain and I'm able to ride the bike on next Friday.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with that. Gosh, these are made of steel. What was I going to say? So yeah, I suppose asking you this question as a circuit racer, I kind of half know what the answer is going to be, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Being on the circuits, I suppose, and doing so well in the super sport class, has it ever kind of crossed your mind to kind of change avenues and and go into something like road racing, or is it just not of any interest to you at this moment in time?
No, it's not any interest to me really. I've the utmost respect and love watching the road racing, but it just doesn't interest me. I've been asked to do it a lot of times, obviously because I'm Irish and
Yeah.
I'm doing quite well in the UK. I've got a lot of opportunities to go road racing, maybe to do the Northwest or the Ulster and stuff like that. But I just have no interest. But I was up at the Northwest last year on the Thursday, I think it was, and the sun was beaming. Everybody was there. It was packed. The evening race, I think it was about 6, 7 o'clock for the Super Sport race. They're lining up on the grid and saying, "Jesus, that actually looks like a lot of fun." Like I was standing there watching, thinking, I think I wouldn't mind being out there. But then Sunday came, and it was torrential rain, and the day ended up getting cancelled with oil spillages and rain and people crashing. I was like, actually, I'll take that back. I don't want to be out there.
So I suppose with thankfully in the end with the coronavirus and everything, bikes did get on the track over at the BSB. But kind of bearing it in mind that 2020 wasn't really the season didn't really go to plan. What I suppose would you be looking to try and do in 2021? Do you have any sort of plans for the 2021 season, or you kind of just taking it as it comes?
Well, I need to secure myself the best package possible with the best team possible. So I'm in talks with my team about next year, but also there might be some other offers on the table too. So the number one goal is to secure the best opportunity for me, and then I want to be a front runner in Superbike, and there's no reason why I can't challenge for the 2021 British Superbike Championship if I'm on the right package.
Well, Jack, we wish you the very best of luck with that, and I hope you get sorted. And as you say, get the best package going, and be up there with all the front runners, all of that. And have a great rest of 2020, and we'll see you hopefully in BSB paddock in 2021. So, thank you very much.
No problem. Thanks for having me.